Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
88% of Gen Zers. Now, those are the folks that are born between 1997 and 2012. They say that they are using artificial intelligence to do their jobs for them. This is definitely changing office culture. And let's talk this over with Elizabeth Mayusai, who's a workplace expert and author of the international best-selling book called Pick Your Path. Elizabeth, welcome to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Thanks so much.
Well, is artificial intelligence good for the office, Elizabeth, or is it just making it easier for employees to put in the minimal amount of effort? What are you thinking here?
Well, I think there are pros and cons to its usage. Yes, can it help an office to be more efficient? I agree. I believe that it can. At the same time, I think that what's the impact that it's having on brains, that could be a different conversation, but because it does change the way the brain is wired ultimately. But a lot of Gen Zers have adopted it to help with email development or finding faster or more efficient ways to take care of repetitive tasks. So there definitely are benefits to utilizing it.
And you talked about the effect of the brain on the brain, Elizabeth. What I'll get into is sometimes you gather people into a room at work and you need people to engage in critical thinking. Is that something that may become a struggle over time if the answer isn't readily available through artificial intelligence?
Absolutely. I do believe that's one of the challenges that we will see, because the AI obviously for many makes it easier, I should say, to think through a problem, which means that a person is not accessing the portions of their brain that help them to critically think through a problem. And that, to me, is one of the biggest challenges that AI could bring. It's just still making sure there's opportunity for people to utilize their brain to think critically rather than just relying on, putting in a good prompt in AI.
You're listening to workplace expert Elizabeth Mayusai on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line on WHO Radio. So, Elizabeth, I did notice in your earlier answer, there's definitely portions of the job that AI seems suited for. How should people properly use it in the workplace, in your opinion?
Well, two things. One, I think it's actually putting in more detailed prompts where AI becomes more of a thought partner, not taking the place of one's ability to think, if that makes sense. So you've already given some thought to it, and now it's as though you're having a conversation with the artificial intelligence to help you think through that. That, I think, can be helpful. If it helps someone to overcome analysis paralysis in what might be the way I say this or reword this, absolutely, because it allows them to not be stuck for hours on end to get the task done. But it is, again, so I think that's one thing that could be used, where it could be used well in that. But again, not as I'm going to always go there for all the answers. And that's where we can get in trouble, is that we just use it. I just got prompted today on my ChatGPT to make it my default browser for any type of search. I'm like, absolutely not. That's not what I'm looking for here. But it is what a lot of people are, how many are moving in that, especially the younger generation.
The other challenge, I would think, Elizabeth, is developing the next generation of leaders. And again, I think you have to put away the ChatGPT and in order to develop leadership qualities and be a leader in the office. Is that an upcoming challenge? How do you pick out the leaders in an office if everybody's using AI?
Well, it is an important piece. I think there will be some who can use AI to gain greater insight into people management when they're using it appropriately, and others where I think it will be shown that they're too reliant on it in how they engage with other people, because people aren't going to respond quote unquote, in a perfect chat GPT way, because we're people. And, we're all, in a sense, none of us are perfect, even though we might want to believe we are. And so that's where I think you're going to see leaders rise to the top, are those who are able to engage, have conversation separate from the assistance of, an artificial intelligence, which is going to be incredibly important. That's why I think it's in the workplace, current leaders need to determine how can we embrace and use AI and still develop people into good leaders. I think current leaders are really going to have to get on the front side of this to ensure that the next generation of leaders are being well developed.
She's a workplace expert, author of the international best-selling book, Pick Your Path, Elizabeth Mayusai, on News Radio 1040 WHO. Elizabeth, fascinating topic. Thanks very much for talking with us this morning.